Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we are setting out on a seriously epic adventure. So grab your gear, because today we're exploring an incredible, totally unbreakable city. Now, this isn't some made-up place from a video game or a fairy tale. We're talking about a majestic, unstoppable fortress described right inside the biblical text of Psalm 48. We're going to scale the heights, walk the walls, and discover exactly what makes this mountain so perfectly secure. So let me ask you, have you ever seen a totally unbreakable castle? I want you to just close your eyes for a second and imagine the most massive, towering mountain fortress ever built in the history of the world. Think of it like the absolute ultimate unstoppable base. Picture walls made of solid stone that are so incredibly high they're literally touching the clouds. Imagine giant, heavy gates that are so strong absolutely nothing could ever break them down or even put a scratch on them. Well, that is exactly the spectacular scene the biblical text paints for us when it talks about Mount Zion, the city of our God. Right away, the text tells us something really amazing about this place. It says this fortress is beautiful in its loftiness, the joy of the whole earth. Now, usually when we think of giant fortresses, we kind of picture them looking dark or scary or just rough. But the biblical text describes his holy mountain as the absolute highest and most breathtakingly beautiful place you could possibly imagine. It's a city so perfectly amazing, shining so brightly with goodness, that just knowing it's standing there brings pure joy to the entire world. Why? Because everyone inside knows they are perfectly safe. Now, the biblical text uses a really cool word to describe his city, and I want us to look at it today. The word is citadel. So, what is it? A citadel is a strong, towering fortress built specifically to keep all the people inside perfectly safe. It's kind of like the ultimate safe room. And the absolute coolest, most important part about this specific citadel, the text says he has shown himself to be her ultimate fortress. God himself is the protector here, making this citadel completely unbreakable. Honestly, you couldn't be safer anywhere else. But you might be wondering, what happens if someone actually tries to attack this amazing place? Well, listen to this. Imagine a bunch of mean enemy kings teaming up together. They joined forces, marching side by side with their loud, stomping armies, boom, 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 thinking they were just so tough and unbeatable. But then, they advanced and they actually saw his city. The text says they were completely astounded. I mean, their jaws literally dropped. They didn't even draw their swords. Just by looking at his massive power and his unbeatable fortress, they fled in terror. They turned right around and ran away just as fast as their legs could carry them. Look at how these big, tough enemies actually reacted when they came face to face with Hezen's citadel. It says they were astounded by the city. They fled in terror, and they were seized by trembling. Just think about that for a second. These kings thought they were going to easily win, but they didn't even get to swing a single sword. The biblical text says they were seized with panic and uncontrollable trembling the very second they saw what Hezen built. It was like they instantly realized, uh-oh, we brought a water balloon to a tank fight. And this brilliantly illustrates just how incredibly strong he is. The biblical text gives us this epic, powerful quote, "You destroyed them like ships of Tarshish shattered by an east wind." Now, back in those days, the ships of Tarshish were the absolute biggest, toughest ocean galleons in the entire world. Think of the most massive battleships you can possibly imagine. But against him, they were like tiny wooden toothpicks in a hurricane. The text compares his massive power to a mighty, roaring ocean storm, instantly shattering those giant ships. Now that is some serious, mind-blowing power. And because he is so endlessly powerful, he makes her secure forever. You see, when he is the one protecting the city of the Lord Almighty, it isn't just safe for a day or a week or even a year. It's not going to eventually wear down like an old toy. It is totally safe and completely secure from any danger, forever and ever. Absolutely nothing can get past him. So, let's step away from the noise of those terrified, retreating enemies for a minute. Just take a deep breath. Let's walk right through those giant, heavy wooden gates and go safely inside the fortress walls. Imagine walking all the way up to his peaceful, beautiful temple. We're leaving all the wild storms and scary armies completely on the outside. Inside here, it's totally calm, it's perfectly quiet, and it is perfectly safe. Inside the temple, the people aren't scared at all. They aren't worried about enemy armies or fierce winds. Instead, they're doing some really beautiful things. The text says they're meditating on his unfailing love, which means they're thinking deeply about how much he cares for them and how he never, ever gives up on them. They're praising his name so loud and so happy that his praise reaches all the way to the very ends of the earth. And they're resting securely, knowing his right hand is completely filled with righteousness. Everyone is just so joyful and glad to be resting in his care. Okay, let's move to and see how this builds, because now it's our turn to scout out the perimeter. The biblical text actually gives us some incredible instructions for an epic walking tour of the walls. Step 1, walk about Zion. Go right around her to see how massive she really is. Step 2, count her towering towers. And step 3, view her citadels. We're supposed to look really closely at every single defense he has built. As we walk on this tour, the text tells us to consider well her ramparts. There's another awesome word. Ramparts are the super thick defensive stone walls surrounding a castle, designed to completely stop any enemies from getting in. I want you to vividly picture these massive, unbreakable stone walls. Imagine blocks of stone as heavy as a school bus, stacked so perfectly that absolutely nothing can knock them down. The biblical text commands us to really pay attention to them so we truly understand how perfectly safe we are inside. But why are we doing this? I mean, why do we count towers and look closely at giant stone ramparts? Well, the text gives us the very best reason, so we can tell the next generation. We learned about his epic strength, so we can remember it for ourselves and then share the good news with everyone we meet. We look at these incredible towers and unbreakable walls, so we never ever forget how perfectly he protects us. And honestly, here is the absolute best part of the whole journey. At the end of the text, we get this powerful, comforting promise right from the biblical text. For this God is our God forever and ever. He isn't just a fortress from a long, long time ago in history. He is our God right now, today, and forever. He will never leave us, and he will protect us just like that giant, unbreakable mountain fortress we've been exploring today. The text finishes by promising that he will be our guide even to the very end. He's our guide forever, leading us safely through life. So, as we finish up this explainer, I have a big, provocative question for you to think about. Since he is so unbelievably strong, and since his love for us is so unfailing, who will you tell about him today? Go out there, remember the unbreakable fortress, and share the awesome story of his holy mountain with someone else.